Good morning, guys. So I want to do a quick video about my weight loss journey because um, I was in a conversation with some people at work the other day about invisible disabilities and how when you're fat and you have when you're fat and you have invisible disabilities, people think you're just fat. So it's difficult at times when people want you to do something that you physically cannot do and they don't understand your limitations, that they think that you're just whining or being lazy about being fat. So let me give you a quick background on me. I had my first knee surgery when I was 8. They thought I was extremely clumsy. Comes to find out that my kneecap was not connected to my ligaments and my cap would jump out of place and I would fall. And I fell a lot. They didn't figure it out until I was 8, so I had my first surgery. I was 13, I was running to catch a bus. My kneecap went out again, same knee, apparently not fixed. So I had second surgery, but because I fell on my knee and I was older, 13, I tore the ligaments, not the tendons. So whichever one wasn't connected the first time, I tore the opposite ones the second time. And they said, no more running at 13, right? Okay, second surgery. So 14, I was diagnosed with lupus, which I probably had for a very long time, but you're talking about 1968 is when I was born, 1977, 78, we're in New York, 1979, we moved to Florida. So between when I was 8 to when I was 14, I had lupus, but it wasn't diagnosed until I was 14. And so this scar that you see here, it was diagnosed by a doctor. Now, when I was younger, it was much more prominent. And one of the signs of lupus is a butterfly tattoo. And it's basically the butterfly body here and then the tail of the butterfly this way. And normally on white people, it's much more prevalent because obviously they're a lighter shade, and so it's pink. So it's much more vibrant. And on me, of course, it's darker. And this in here and all of this in here was darker. Like, I keep putting my glasses on. Like, you can see it a little bit in here, but over time, it's just kind of, it's not as noticeable. So anyway, I was severely allergic to the sun. I had extreme migraines, like from the time I was 14 on. Of course, that was part of lupus. My knees were bad, and because of how many times I had fallen, even after my second surgery, of course, I developed arthritis very early. By the time I was in my 20s, the lupus would often give me chronic fatigue. So I always had jobs, but there'd be occasions where I would be sleeping for 12 to 14 hours a day and I couldn't get out of bed. And I would literally have to throw myself onto the floor and like crawl to the bathroom and like make myself wake up. And that required me to go on to steroids. They were always declining steroids, but in my case, I gained weight every single time I took them. And it wasn't while I was taking them, it was about a month after I would gain about 20 to 30 pounds that I couldn't get off. And so I've had health problems from the beginning, okay? I fell, my knee went out to me when I was what? Oh, I got pregnant with my son when I was 31. And because of the lupus and because they said that I had some womb issues, they thought that I wouldn't be able to carry a child. So I wasn't expecting to get pregnant. I did, and I did carry him, but I did gain weight. The weight, of course, exacerbated the knee issues I had already had. And I don't remember if I fell before or after he was born. I can't get the timetable right, but I know that at some point I fell and I tore my patella tendon in my right leg. Mind you, I've already had 2 surgeries on this leg, and now my patella tendon is out. At the time, I did not have insurance. So that meant I limped it off and, carried on. At some point, I could not use my right leg much. And even to drive, I had to drive with my left foot and right foot because I couldn't really like lift my foot off the pedal. I'd have to kind of slide it over. So I would use this foot on the gas and then this foot on the brake, and an automatic. It was not a stick. Eventually I got a job where I did have insurance. So I had my third surgery, which was to fix the patella tendon. And then my left knee was so bad from accommodating my right knee that the doctor, when he showed me the, actually, it wasn't even him showing me the x-rays. When I went to see the doctor, he came into the room, he opened the door, looked at me, closed the door. And I was like, okay. And then he came back in and he said, per your x-rays, he said, I thought you were a senior citizen. I thought I was in the wrong room. I was 36 at the time. And I was like, man, they're bad. What can I tell you? So I had my patella tendon fixed. And then after that was fixed, 6 months later, I had to have the left leg done. And it was just basically to put some pins in to hold my kneecap in place because it was like this. He said at the time that I needed knee replacement at 36. Of course, they didn't want to do it because I was too young, and they felt like I would end up in a wheelchair. If I had to have 2 more replacements, then I'd be in a wheelchair before I was 50. So they did that. It was 2018 before I was finally able to, that I had insurance, that I was able to have the knee replacement, and I needed it in both knees. The problem before that was, 1, I didn't have insurance. 2, at the time, I was too heavy, and they wanted me to have gastric bypass, which I refused to do. But they also told me I could not walk, I couldn't run, had to be careful I couldn't really do a treadmill. I could do the bike, but the problem with the bike is that one leg, it was okay, the other leg didn't like it. So it was always a trial. I don't do good on calorie restrictive diets. I just don't. It was just a fluke that I happened to find keto and Dr. Berg, and I was able to lose 50 pounds so I could have the surgery. And so here I am now, and the issues are, my knees are done and better, but because I've had lifelong issues, I have degenerative disc disease in my back, which does not help me being heavy, right? But trying to get the weight off has been some issues, because even after doing the surgery, my quads have atrophied. They basically do not function. So not only did I have to relearn walking properly, I've had to also strengthen my quads, which were so bad that, I'm still trying to do it, 3 years after the surgery. And that's what the orthopedic doctor told me, that I'm going to be doing this for years to get them back to where they need to be. And I still have to work, right? Number 2, I've already been through menopause. I'm 54. So, of course, my hormones are probably out of whack. I am also susceptible to stress. So, stress and hormones, being a female, does not help with trying to lose weight. So I do know that keto works for me. I don't do keto like the way the kids do it. I try to do 7 to 10 cups of vegetables. I don't count them as part of my carbs. I only count the carbs that are processed, and I eat good fats, avocados, olive oil, stuff like that. Now, here comes the kicker. I'm in a hotel. I don't have a kitchen any longer. So where this applied a couple years ago, it's harder to do now because I don't have a kitchen. So I just wanted to come on and kind of give you a backstory of where I sit right now, trying to do the things that I need to do to get the weight off, and I don't have a kitchen to cook in. So how am I doing it? That is the question.